This text from Kings, 1 Kings, is wonderful. As I said yesterday, just to remind you, we're on week 10 of Ordinary Time, and we've started on Monday, we started looking through 1 Kings 17, the Elijah cycle. So all the stories about the prophet Elijah. And in the Gospels, we've started Matthew's Gospel. It started this on week 10, on Monday, starting with the Sermon on the Mount. And then we're going to read through the whole of the Gospel of Matthew from now on. And today, so we've got Elijah, one of my favorite texts. Elijah in northern Israel, trying to call the people of Israel back to the Lord because they've worshipped the god Baal. And you see how much they've deserted the Lord. There are 450 prophets of Baal, and he's the only one who is faithful to the Lord. He encourages the people to stand firm in their faith. He says, stop hobbling about from one foot to the other. They're not making a decision about where they should be, whether they should be for God or for Baal, and they won't commit themselves. And that's signified by their response when he calls them to make that choice. Their response is silence. They refuse to choose one way or another. And so he places this fantastic challenge for them. And he's at the disadvantage. He's at the disadvantage because there's 450 of them and only one of him. He has his sacrifice and wood completely soaked in water. Theirs is dry. And the water being poured over 3 times reminds us of baptism. As we, in baptism, we offer ourselves. We are the offerings. You and I are the offerings given to the Lord. And the offering accepted in baptism. And here they chant for hours. Elijah says a prayer to the Lord. Lord, show them who is God. And at the end of the prayer, fire descends, licks up all the offerings, all the wood, all the water. Everything is consumed by God. There is no doubt who is the Lord now. Jesus in the gospel is basically, I was saying this yesterday, so my apologies for you who were here yesterday. The Sermon on the Mount is Jesus giving the new law for the new covenant. And so Jesus is saying here, I'm not doing away with the old covenant. That's not what I'm doing. I'm perfecting it. I'm completing it. I am bringing out the true depth and meaning. It is a law of love. And this is what I'm showing you. This is what I desire to reveal to you. God is love, and his law is love. And we'll continue to hear Jesus teaching us this new law. The law is made, is completed with the sacrifice. It is consummated with the giving over of a sacrifice. And at the Eucharist here is where we celebrate and where we participate in the making of that new covenant. We recommit ourselves to the covenant we've made in baptism. And just a thought, if God was able, by the words of a prophet, to consume a sacrifice completely without any match being lighted to it, and if God was able to create everything with a word, then how much more can he take a piece of bread and by a word transform it into himself?